Have you ever had a dream that had a particular metal in it, like silver or gold? Or have you dreamt about wood, a wooden floor, for instance? Well, we're going to talk about the meaning of metals and wood in dreams. Metals in dreams can have various meanings. So we're going to talk about what the different types of metals that can appear in your dream and what they mean. So number one, gold. So gold in a dream represents holiness. It represents purity. It also can represent the glory of God. In 1 Peter, the first chapter and the 7th verse, it talks about gold being refined. When gold is refined, it is put through a fiery process for cleansing and purification. So gold can represent a refining process that the dreamer is going through. Gold can also represent wealth. Now, in a negative sense, gold can represent greed. So it depends on the context of the dream. But usually gold will represent holiness and it will represent purity. Number two, silver. Silver tends to represent redemption. In the book of Exodus, the 30th chapter, God talks about redeeming the children of Israel with silver. And so silver tends to represent God's redeeming love. In a negative sense, silver can represent slavery. It could represent legalism. It also can represent domination. And also something that is interesting is that silver is not mentioned as one of the metals or colors being in heaven, because when we're in heaven, we won't need to be redeemed. We have already been redeemed by the time we reach heaven. So I thought that was quite interesting. Number three, iron. Iron is a very strong metal, so it represents strength. It represents power. It can also represent dominion as well. But in a negative sense, iron can represent stubbornness or opposition to something. So again, it just depends on what's going on in the dream. Number four, tin. So tin, in the book of Isaiah, the first chapter, the 25th verse, God likens tin to impurity. And so tin could represent in a dream something that is impure, that needs cleansing. It could also represent the flesh because it's not a very strong metal. So it's something that's a metal that's more flimsy. So it can represent spiritual or emotional weakness. Tin can also represent hypocrisy, not being real or being fake. Number five, steel. Steel is a very strong metal. So steel in a dream would represent strength, the strength of God. Also, it will represent something powerful and something that endures. So it represent endurance. Number six, brass. Brass in a dream could represent someone not showing love, because in 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter and the first verse, it talks about how a person who doesn't show love is like somebody who makes a lot of noise, like brass. So brass in a dream can represent that. It could also represent poverty in a dream. Also, brass can represent judgment. It just depends on what's going on in the dream. Number seven, bronze. Bronze is kind of similar to brass, but it has more copper in it than brass does. And so bronze in a dream can represent strength. Bronze can represent righteousness. Bronze also can represent the third position of something, because as we know, in the Olympics or any race or competition, the third prize medal is usually bronze. The first prize is gold, second prize is silver, and the third prize is bronze. So it can represent the number 3 or being in third position in some way. Number 8, aluminum. Aluminum can represent a very powerful ministry or organization. Also, aluminum can be a play on words. God could be using wordplay in the dream because it could be representing illuminate. Aluminum sounds kind of like illuminate, and aluminum in a dream can be showing something that reflects the glory of God, because aluminum itself reflects light. So aluminum in a dream can be showing something that reflects God's glory. It could be speaking of revelation or even insight. Now, if you have a dream about wood, anything, you're living in a wooden house, you're standing on a wooden floor, or the wood is being eaten away at the foundation in your house or something like that, wood would tend to represent the flesh or doing something in the flesh. It tends to represent carnality. So it would show you doing something, or speak of you doing something in your own strength, as opposed to relying on the strength of God. Also, wood can represent dishonor, being dishonored or dishonoring someone. A wooden floor, if you have a dream that you're standing on a wooden floor, that could represent that you're standing on or relying on your own strength or your own merits, that you're not standing on a sure, firm foundation. And it speaks of how the foundation, since it's made of wood, that it will not last. So it speaks of standing or doing things in your own merit. Have you had any dreams about metals, or have you had any wooden dreams? I want to hear about it. Leave them in the comment section below, and go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you're not a part of the Dream Team, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming videos. I'll talk to you next time.